Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mercy. If you're new, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoy this kind of content. So let's get right into it. It is Love Month and it's also Black History Month, but I really want to focus on love and lust. These are two very contrary words, things, and I think it's important that we discuss the difference, because a lot of times we enter into relationships with people, we can't really tell if it's love or lust. So I want to help, kind of clear the air and help you determine whether or not your relationship is reflecting love or lust. So first things first, I just have a few things listed here that I want to read over that I wrote down. And I wrote that lust is a desire while love is a choice. So when you're in lust, like, you'll always make decisions based off what you're feeling, whatever you desire. And those are the decisions that you'll make. So, but love is a choice. So it's a decision that you make when your mind is clear, like you're getting up and you're choosing to be there with somebody, you're choosing to be gracious, you're choosing to be kind. So that's the main difference. Lust is led by desires and love is led by choice, conscious choices. So lust is sinful, as we know, and love is fruitful. I think that's self-explanatory. So love is fruitful because when you love, it continues to pass on. When you love someone, then they love someone, then it just becomes like it's like a tree that keeps growing. And so that's why I say that. Lust is selfish while love is sacrificial. And so when you are in lust, or when you have a lust in your heart, you're going to be led by the things that you want to do. So everything is gonna be, every decision that you make is for your pleasure. It's not necessarily, oh, let me do this so that you can feel better. It's, what can you do to make me feel good? That is where lust stems from. It's a selfish feeling. But love is sacrificial. So it's you're giving yourself to someone else because you love them, and in that case it's sacrificial. Lust is fleeting, but love lasts forever. Lust is fleeting. That means it has an end. But love does not end. It literally goes on and on and on and on. So it's eternal, you can say. So lust is wavering and love is consistent. I think these go hand in hand. Lust is wavering because, like I said, it's based on your feeling and your desire. So those things are always changing. But if you consistently choose to love every day, like, that's a choice that you're making because, like, you're consciously deciding to make that decision. And so it's consistent because it's not based on your emotions. Love is a choice, not an emotion. So lust brings destruction and love brings healing. That's pretty, these are kind of like biblical. I don't have like the verses written down, but a lot of these you can find in the Bible. But lust brings destruction because, like I said, it's based on emotion, it's based on your desire. Those are always changing, and on top of that, you're going to do whatever you can to make sure that you are being pleased. And so then it becomes like the world revolves around you, and when you have that mindset, it becomes destructive to everyone around you. Nobody wants to be your friend, nobody wants to be in a relationship with you, because all you care about is yourself and how you can get pleasure. It's not necessarily you giving pleasure to anyone else or you caring for anyone else's feelings. So love brings healing because, like the Bible says, love conquers all. it brings healing, because love is just something that we all desire. God placed that desire in our hearts to want to be loved. And so when we are loved correctly, it does heal. So honestly, outside of all those, I think that lust, it doesn't allow for a foundation of friendship to be curated, especially in like romantic situations. When you or the person you're dealing with is lustful, like I said, they're gonna do anything they can do to get you in bed with them, and then once they do, it kind of fades away. You know what I'm saying? So there's like no room for friendship, because it's all focused on romancing and sexual and sensual things. So in that sense, it doesn't allow you to really get to know a person, because it clouds your reality. Everything is like romance and flowers and hearts and chocolate. That's what it looks like when you're in a lustful situation. So all you'll think about is pleasuring yourself. But on the other hand, love is a response of acceptance. After you've seen like the good, the bad, and the ugly in a person, it's patient and it never gives up or loses faith. And that's in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verses 7. So lust comes before you get to know your interests, and therefore shows you that you don't actually desire something of substance with that person, only sex. But on the other hand, love comes after you've gotten to know that person. You know, it's not like, I think I'm in love with you. You're gonna know, because love is a choice. Love is not a feeling. So as I wrote down some revelation that God had given me some months ago, and this is just, I really felt like I needed to share this. And it was basically revolving around the fact that the devil creates counterfeits for everything God has made. And so love and lust, they're contrary, because lust is a counterfeit of love. So God is love, right? But God is also the God of multiplication. So if God is love and he's the God of multiplication, that means love multiplies. So when it comes to masturbation versus sex, masturbation is the counterfeit of sex, because sex multiplies, but masturbation doesn't. It actually detracts, because it's taking away your peace. It's taking away your self-control. And this is not for everybody. Some people, they can control themselves, but they just rather do it. And I just believe that in Genesis, God told Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. And so if it doesn't multiply, that it's not of God, because God is the God of multiplication. He's the God of love. He's fruitful in himself. You know what I'm saying? So peace and self-control, these are fruits of the Spirit. And so when we are involved in self-pleasuring, these are all counterfeits, because they don't produce anything. They don't produce anything. God created sex for the man and woman in the confines of marriage, within the confines of marriage. So when it's taken out of that, and then it's perverted with pornography and all these other things, then it's not fruitful anymore. Everything that God created is counterfeited by the devil. And what happens when you usually buy a counterfeit? Let's say, like, think of it as you want a Louis Vuitton purse or whatever he makes, shoes, but you buy a counterfeit because it's cheaper. But then you start realizing that it deteriorates fast, and it doesn't bring you as much, you know, comfort or pleasure as it would the real thing. And so then you try to conceal the deterioration and make it seem like it's the real thing, but it's really not, so people won't notice. You try to conceal it and hide it, and then at some point you just stop wearing it. And so I feel like that's the same thing with masturbation. Like, it can only hold you for so long, it can only please you for so long, but it fades away quickly. It's not fruitful, it attracts you lose your peace, you lose your self-control, and like I said, it doesn't produce anything, and it's not fruitful. So that's the revelation that God gave me on lust. And another thing is that lust pleases the flesh. And Galatians chapter 5 verse 17 made it clear that the flesh and the spirit are not cohesive. So it says the sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the spirit wants. And the spirit gives us desires that are the opposite of what the sinful nature, which is our flesh, desires. These two forces are constantly fighting each other, so you are not free to carry out your good intentions. And so that right there basically says that if lust is pleasing your flesh, then it doesn't please your spirit, because whatever your flesh desires is the opposite of what your spirit desires. And so lust, we cannot please our flesh and please God at the same time, because God is spirit within us. So masturbation is for the flesh. It does not please God. And so out of the abundance, the Bible says, the mouth flows. And so I believe that this is why the Bible tells us to guard our hearts. When it says guard your heart above all else, it's not talking about guarding your heart from people. He was saying that you need to guard your heart by tuning out bad information, bad influences, like filtering whatever comes in your ears, and whatever you see will affect your heart, and whatever is in your heart will flow from your mouth. So that's why our parents always used to tell us, like, it matters what music you listen to, like it matters what you're watching, because it eventually builds up. Yes, so sorry guys, my camera cut off, but as I was saying, like, the things that you watch and the music that you listen to does affect you. And so that's why the Bible says guard your heart above all else, because we need to filter out certain things that we hear and see, because it does seep into our heart. And so whatever is in our heart will come out of our mouths. So whatever we think and speak is from our heart. And so if what we see and hear is what we eventually become, then if we focus our eyes and our focus on Jesus, then we will become more like him and not of this world. So focus your eyes on Jesus so that you can become like him. And that's pretty much the video for today. I hope this gives you all some clarity about, where you stand, and if you're even dealing with a lustful heart. If you like this type of content, please let me know in the comments below. Share with me your thoughts on this topic, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.